Hi, welcome to Wednesday Wisdom. My name is Sera and I'm Ice Hockey Australia's goaltender development manager. And today with me, I have Pete Fry, the goalie mindset guy. Welcome, Pete.
Thanks, Sarah. Great to be here with you on Wisdom. I like that, Wisdom Wednesday.
Yeah, well, there's so much wisdom to share, right? So let's take it all the way back to the start. How did you get involved in hockey?
Oh my. Okay, so we're going back a long way. I was actually born in Canada, and just outside of Toronto, Ontario. Lived in a small town called Kleinburg. And my parents, I think they asked me if I wanted to be a goalie or wanted to play hockey. And they had me watching the Hockey Night in Canada every Saturday. And it was Montreal and Toronto were the big rivalries. And I followed a goalie named Ken Dryden. So he was kind of my idol back then, I think. And so I decided I wanted to be a goalie. So I think I started when I was 6 or 7. And they don't do it now, but I was a goalie right away. Like
Oh,
right away.
wow. Okay.
I was never a player. Never a player. Always a goalie right from the start. In fact, my first year in goal, I can remember because I got a trophy for like it's like the best goals against average in the association. It was like 0.8 something.
Nice.
But it was all downhill from there after that. The goals against average kept going up every year. It was like 0.8 something my first year, so like less than one goal a game.
So I mean,
I think I could lie on the ice and the kids couldn't even raise it over me.
right. So only ever having been a goalie, do you reckon in hindsight has that altered your game sense at all? Do you think if you had been a player for a little bit, that would have developed your goalie game sense a little bit?
I think so. Yeah, for sure. In fact, that's one of the things that I don't think I was as strong on as I advanced in goaltender. Skip forward 20 something years, 20 years maybe. I was practicing with the Canadian national team, and we're doing this drill where it was a power play drill. And I would always practice my lateral movement. I was so quick, I thought, going from one side of the net to the other. During this power play drill, I was getting burnt all the time. And I was like, what? I work on it so much. I'm so fast. But one of the things I was not that strong at was reading the play.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
Being aware, right? And so no matter how fast you can push or how quick you are, if you're behind the play in your mind, you're not going to look that fast out there.
Right. All right. Well, let's fill in the gaps then. So what did your junior career look like? Your youth career growing up?
What did it look like when I was 15? It looked like this. When I was 15, it's kind of an interesting story. I'm in grade 10 in science class, and I get called to the principal's office. And so I'm going, I'm like, oh no, not again. Right? So I'm walking there, I'm kind of scared. And this is before cell phones. And they're like, your dad's on the phone. So I get the phone and they put me on the phone. He's like, hey, Pete, the general manager of the Portland Winterhawks just called. They're going to bring you up on their Eastern road swinger through Alberta. You're going to join the team. And I was only 15 at the time, so very, very young. And I'm like, okay. So he's like, I have to come get you right now. We got to take you to the airport. You got to get a suit, go to the airport. And so the next day, I fly, or that night I fly out there. I joined the team on the bus, and we go to, I think it was Medicine Hat was the very, very first game. And so the next night we're playing Medicine Hat, it was, and I wasn't playing. They said, don't worry, you're just going to sit on the bench. You're just going to sit on the bench. Don't worry about it. I'm like, okay.
No pressure at all. Easy.
No pressure. Just sit on the bench. So I remember in warm up, I'm like, oh man, these shots are so hard. And Portland had on their team that year, probably half of their team ended up playing in the National Hockey League. Like one of the guys, Cam Neely, he is the president of the Boston Bruins now, right? He hit a very, very hard shot. Lots of really good players. And then the game starts. I'm sitting on the bench. And I remember still getting over the shock of the shots in warm-up. And the game isn't like 2 minutes old. And the other goalie on our team, someone goes through the crease and kind of runs him over a little bit. And he's lying on the ice. He's not getting up. And the coach looks over and he's like, Peter, get ready.
You're in.
I know. And I was like, what? And I was frozen. I swear to God, I was literally frozen in time right there. I couldn't move a muscle, even like to pick up my stick and grab my gear. And eventually I got around to doing that. And I was like, so if someone asked once, what's the time when you were like the most scared in your life? It would have been that time there more than anything. And it's interesting because now I work on the mental game with the goaltenders, because that's something that I never worked on. I never prepared for, right? So with goalies now, if that happens, something like that happens, I train them so that they can move their body in such a way and they can visualize some things so that they're feeling confident. You see, my mind went to all the greatest fears of going in there and not stopping a thing, and fans booing and throwing beach balls on the ice and any negative thought you can imagine, right? And my body language wasn't helping. I was frozen. So now I work with goalies so that they can create their own confidence, and that it actually does come from within, and it's not external. And so that's actually, even though that wasn't the best moment for me, like being that fearful. And by the way, the goalie did end up getting up eventually. So I didn't go in at that time. Able to turn that around and now, parlay it into a system that can help the goaltenders.
So since that moment, what did the rest of the career look like?
Well, that year I got brought up a couple times at 15, and then they said I went down to Portland a little bit in the summer, and they said this year you're going to play in Summerland, which was their junior A team, and they said you're going to play there. So I go to training camp in Portland, and near the end of the year, the last year, I had broken my ankle wrestling, like in school. Right? Like, I was like, I didn't really want to be in the wrestling because I didn't want to get hurt. Of course, I didn't want to get hurt for hockey, and look what happens. I got hurt for hockey.
Always the way.
So it was the negative thinking again. So they had to tape my ankle up every day in training camp. It was very difficult, but at the end of training camp, they're like, we're going to keep you, not the older goalie, right? So they had a 17-year-old and me. I was a 16-year-old. They decided to keep me instead of the other guy. Was not expecting it. They said, you're on the team. You've made the team.
Nice.
Right? Yeah, and I was in shock. And then they said, you're not really going to play. The other goalie's 19. He's been drafted by the Edmonton Oilers. He's going to play almost all of the games. You'll just sit on the bench most of the year, kind of get used to things.
Yeah,
well, the first two games. Yeah. And the first two games the other goalie plays, he struggles. And he totally struggles. So they put me in, and I happen to play well. So I played like 5 games in a row. And I remember, I think 3 of the 5 games I got like first star or second star.
Oh, nice.
Like I was on fire. It was headlines. I was on fire. And then after the 5th game, I don't know, something happened mentally. Like, I don't know if the coach thought I was arrogant then or something, or when he started like skating me really hard at practice, and I didn't get it. I really didn't understand it, but I struggled a little bit. And so I went from, how do I say it, being able to stop every puck no matter what, to really fighting the puck and really struggling. And it was nothing physically. It was all mental.
Yeah, interesting.
All of a sudden I started doubting myself. But although as a 16-year-old, I still had a pretty good year. I played 39 games.
Nice.
And which is a lot for a 16-year-old, especially back then. I was ranked to get drafted, the top 3 to 4 goalies to get drafted the next year in the National Hockey League. And then when I went home during the summer, hung out with a lot of my buddies. They weren't bad guys. They weren't into drugs. They weren't into alcohol, but they weren't athletes.
They were teenagers, right?
Yeah, they were teenagers. Yeah. And they weren't athletes. And that was such a mistake. I remember Donnie Mean, a player agent, flew out to see my mom and dad to sign me to be his client. And he's like, my other client, Russ Courtnall, you should go skate with him regularly, right? And Russ was a standout in the Western Hockey League. He played in the National Hockey League for a long time. And I was like, nah, I'm fine with my friends, hanging out with my friends. Such a mistake. It's the old, who you hang around with is who you become. I went back as a 17-year-old and had a terrible year. Well, they played 31 games, did not get drafted that year. When you get the GM's bad books, they trade you to Brandon. I got traded to Brandon, which is like the cold part of Canada. Just so you know, in Australia, anyone in Australia, Brandon, Manitoba. Anyways, sorry to anyone listening from Brandon, but that was a joke in Portland. If you got in the manager's bad books, you got traded to Brandon. That was me. And so another guy who that happened to, you've probably seen him if you watch a lot of hockey on TV, Ray Ferraro. Mm-hmm. I don't know. He's an announcer on TV now, color guy, and really, really good, really, really good guy. But he's same thing. He got traded to Brandon as well too.
So how'd you bounce back from that then?
Well, I didn't right away. In fact, I quit. I quit when I was
Wow.
18 in training camp. In training camp, I was just like I say, I had some, I don't know what it was, but just confidence challenges. I'm not sure what it was. Right? Yeah. If you're not putting good stuff in your mind, weeds will grow. And
Well,
I
you
didn't
start
have,
believing it, right?
yeah, and I didn't have a system for that. And so I would just look on what was bad, what was wrong, and asking myself negative questions. Then I came back to Victoria, and I eventually got traded to Victoria, the Western Hockey League. So I played there, and as a 19-year-old, I thought, you know what, I'm gonna work hard this year. So I worked hard that year. I got drafted by New Jersey.
Nice.
And you think when someone gets drafted, it's like, okay, great, you're on track. But my first thought was, I don't have a chance. I never visualized. I never ran that movie of playing in the National Hockey League, and that really, really hurt me. Like when I went to training camp, it was like almost anything I could do to have a poor performance as opposed to have a great performance there. And that's why I'm such a big believer now on working with the guys on the mind. So I did end up, I played in Sweden for a year, played in the minors a little bit, like in the East Coast League and like Knoxville, Tennessee, places like that. Went to University of Calgary, played for some great coaches there, Willie Deschardins and Mike Johnson. They both coached in the National Hockey League. That was great. We had championship teams in Calgary. Which was fantastic. And then, now my main focus is working with goalies on the mental part of the game. So I'm able to parlay some of the challenges that I went through. Yeah, and work with goalies on that. Early on in my coaching career, some of the goalies that I worked with, Mike Valley, who's now, he I think he became an NHL coach.
I was on the phone with him last week, so yes.
Yeah. He was one of my early clients there. Robbie Talos, who's also the Florida Panthers goalie, super guy, great guy. Rob is fantastic. They're both really, really good. Eli Wilson as well too was one of my early clients back in the day. And then I kind of got away from it, from specializing in goalies, and now I've been back at her for a few years, just on the mental part though. I don't do any.
So you don't actually coach on the ice anymore, right?
No.
Okay.
I focus. They call me. Their phone sessions. I got online programs that goalies can make that will totally change their thinking, help them think bigger. If there's any goalies listening that want to have a goalie career, I got some really good programs. Like one program that I developed that I know a lot of pros do it 2 or 3 times a year. Once you get it once, you can do it as many times as you want. It's called Goalie Mindset Power, and that's a 30-day program which will totally change your thinking as a goalie. And it is everything for goalies that want to have a professional goalie career. They got to get that. It's
Absolutely. I go on about how the mental side of goaling is the most important. You can have the technical skills, the tactical skills, the physicality to be able to fulfill that position. But if you don't have the mental resilience to it, then everything else is kind of useless. So I think that's really special. I was going to ask you what specifically you do, but if you like, are you happy to share your website? Some of the things that you do actually do.
For sure. I'll do that. I'll bring them on there and show it. But just a sec, did you say the mental side of goalieing? Did you say goalieing?
Yes, that's the thing. Goalieing.
I'm just giving you a hard time. I love it. That's awesome. You can say goaltending, just so you know. That's an option to say goaltending.
Or goalieing. Yeah.
Goalieing. Yeah. I love it. I'm going to start using that over here.
See how many people you throw off with that. Feel free to share your website to tell us a little bit more about specifically what you do.
Yeah, here. I'll share my screen here. Let me just. Where did it go? Where's Zoom? There we go. Share screen. Okay. Here, this is a program right here, and this is actually it's called goaliemindsetpower.com. You can put that right in your browser, and it'll walk you through the 30-day program. And it is, like I say, it's really, really good. A lot of major junior pro goalies have gone through and done this program, and they don't just do it once. They do it, like I say, once you get it once, you can continue to do it over and over and over.
Well, it's just the same as on the ice, right? You keep continuously working your fundamentals. So I imagine this is a similar thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's on sale, and you also you get a session with myself as well too with the program as well.
Awesome.
Right? Yeah. It's a great one. I don't want to be too salesy here, but like I say, I can't say enough about that. It is such a power. I wish I had that when I played. I really do.
Yeah.
I had that when I played.
Yeah. So I'm talking a little bit about, working with Eli Wilson and knowing that, haha.
Yeah. See, Eli's great. Have you had him on here?
No, not yet. It
Oh,
is.
you got to get him
Hopefully, I
on.
will. But if anyone doesn't have this book, absolutely go and get it. So you do have a chapter in that, and I love the detail that you go in through it. So I did want to talk a little bit about it. So I'm a couple of the three focus areas that you focus on. Well, focus, that would be the one. Confidence and visualization. So can you elaborate a little bit on that and things you do around those areas to help with goals?
Yes. Yes. In fact, for goalies that are listening, I'm going to give you maybe a little bit of framework here that you can use that will help your mental game big time. And the first thing is to be in what I call the athlete mindset in a game. And when I played, I think I was always in the fan mindset. And
Okay.
give you an example. Okay, we're playing a game. We're playing a game, and actually, I can go back to a specific game when I was playing in the Western Hockey League. There, we're playing against Kamloops, and our team is down the far end, and I'm thinking score, score, score. Like that's all that's going in my head. I'm thinking that, and all of a sudden the play is turned over. Well, my focus is still on the score, 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 as opposed to get ready for the turnover, right? So that's one
Yeah.
example of being in the fan mindset. When you got to remain, instead of that, when your team has a puck down the far end and they got opportunities, you almost got to have that I don't care what happens down there mentality.
Well, you also have
That's
no control over that.
You have zero control over that. Exactly. So you got to bring it back to the controllables. Okay, who's open? Where's the stretch pass possibility? So you remain in that athlete mindset. The other thing is when your D-men have the puck in your end and they're trying to get it out and you're like, God, get it out, or you're looking at the time or things like that stuff. That is all fan mindset stuff. That's a no-no. That is a no-no. Your job as a goalie is the same, whether it's 5 minutes into the game or halfway. It doesn't matter what the time is, unless you're down by a goal and there's a minute left. You might have to go to the bench, but that's really
Yeah.
the only time, right? Or
Well,
guys
different situations. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So the athlete mindset. Give you an example of one of my clients, Beck Warm, who's just turning pro now. He was playing against Spokane in the Western Hockey League, playing for Tri-Cities. And I think this year, or this season that I'm telling you about, he broke the single season saves record for Tri-Cities. It was, yeah, he was just a phenomenal athlete. And they're playing Spokane. They're up by 1. There's about 30 seconds left. His team brings the puck down the far end. They get to the far blue line. They got the empty net because Spokane pulled their goalie. Their player gets to the top of the circle. He's got the open net. He fires it off the crossbar. Spokane comes right back, and they got an opportunity. Beck saves it. He shuts them down, and Tri-Cities wins the game. So when he calls me, he always calls me after the game because we recap. And I'm like, Beck, what was going through your mind when your player had that puck on the top of the circles and had the empty net? He was like, and you know what Beck's response was? I'm ready for the turnover. I'm ready. Because you think of it, that was so close to sealing it by 2 goals. And you see that happen all the time where goalies are behind the play because they are cheering for their team.
Because they're not focusing on the puck and their role. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So first thing, a little bit of framework, get in that athlete mindset, stay in that athlete mindset. If you slip out of it, you're human. It's no big deal. No big deal. The second thing would be the 3 mental zones. And I got articles on InGoal Mag. Are you yeah, a lot of people, everyone should be subscribed to InGoal Mag. It doesn't cost much to do it. There's great stuff in there. Hutch and Kevin are really, really good. Really, really good. Great goalie guys. So, and it covers it more in detail in the article in InGoal Mag, but the 3 mental zones basically takes a philosophy that you don't ever need to look at the time. Like you never, because when you're focused, and John Stevenson, a friend of mine, John Stevenson, he brought this into real clarity for me. He talked to me about the whole flashlight, like the flashlight. So basically imagine that it's pitch black out there and you have a flashlight on your mask. And wherever you put that flashlight, that's what gets your attention and your energy and your focus. So if your flashlight is on the time clock, it's not on the puck and the play.
Or in the stands or any other distraction that's around there, right?
Yes. But how many goalies will tell you they're looking at the clock all the time because they want the time to go faster?
Yeah.
And that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. So the 3 mental zones basically takes the time and it gives it back to you because you really just want to be in the moment.
Right.
And so how that works is mental zone 1 is before the puck drops for the game or in between whistles, whenever there's no play on, whenever the play is dead and in between whistles. And that's mental zone 1, which is your time to rest, revitalize. And then when it's getting close to the puck being dropped, then you check your levels. Okay, you check and what I mean by checking your levels is imagine that you are a race car and you go into the pit stop. They're going to have a team of people to check your tire pressure, your engine oil, all of your levels to make sure you can run the best, perform at your finest. And so to check your levels, you got 4 levels to check: your hype level, your confidence level, your compete level, and your flashlight, your focus. Those 4 levels. And you just check them to make sure they're where you need to be. If not, you adjust them. And then the puck now drops. Now you're into mental zone 2, which is where your flashlight, or you could say your magnifying glass, whatever you want to say, is just on the puck and the play. Nothing else. No thought of the time. No thought of the score. Is your team going to score? Or, man, my defenseman sucks today. There's none of that stuff, right? Just the puck and the play, remaining in the athlete mindset. And then mental zone 3 is a little bit of 1 and 2. That's when your team has full control down the far end. And so you can do a little 80-20, right? So you're not going to keep your foot on the gas the whole time, or you'll burn the engine out. So you take it off the gas.
But you're still ready, yeah. You're still ready for anything.
Ready. You're aware. You're in the athlete mindset, but you're not dialed.
You're not 100%. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that would be mental zone 3. Yeah. So you just go in between those mental zones as opposed, and if you do that, you stay in the moment. Before you know it, the game will be over.
Right.
The game will be over. I wish I had that when I played, because sometimes a 60-minute game would seem like 24 hours.
Yeah.
Right.
Some games do seem to move faster than others or slower than others. Absolutely. And being able to stay in that athlete mindset the whole time, I think having that consistency is what's going to lead to success.
Exactly. And then maybe I'll just recap that off with the levels, like with checking the levels, because that's kind of like the end of the framework is hype level. You think of what level do you play your best at? Mm-hmm. Are you hyped right up? So you got to be so fired up, like listening to like the heaviest rock music or fastest music and having a bunch of caffeine in you and just like jacked right up. That's a 10. Yep. A 1 is sleeping.
Yeah.
Where do you play your best? Are you at a 5 or a 6? Some goalies tell me they're a 9 or a 10. They got to be hyped right up. But some guys are more of a 5. They got to be calm.
And that's all very much individualized. Like it's not going to be the same for everyone.
Totally individualized. So if you're too hyped, you can focus on your breath to bring it down. If you're not hyped enough to where you need to be, you can move powerfully, like move quickly, clap your hands, whatever it is, run a highlight reel of making a few saves. So that's the first level to check. The next is your confidence level. Are you a 10 out of 10? Because when you play, if you feel like you can stop every puck, chances are you're going to stop the puck.
Yeah.
Right? It's when you're doubting yourself, fighting the puck. That's when the challenges come into play.
Which I think, like, when you have nerves is a good thing. So I'll always say that if you're nervous, it means you care. You're caring about the process and the outcome. But it doesn't mean you're not confident.
Yes, exactly. So here's what you can do for your confidence to bring it up to a 9 or a 10. You can do through how you move and what you focus on.
Right.
You can put in, if you go to YouTube, you put in Joel Hofer, who was a goalie that won the gold medal for Canada in the World Juniors last year. Put in Joel Hofer confidence, I believe. And then you'll see a video of me taking him through a self-confidence session. Just a quick little clip of going in, moving, and imagining himself making the saves. Same thing that you can do in the game. So you get that to You get that confidence level to a 10 out of 10. You get your compete level to a 10 out of 10. If you're not feeling hungry, ask yourself a question. How come I must play great tonight? Or what's one reason why I want to play great? Something like that. That'll drive the inner why in you. And then the fourth thing is your flashlight. And with your flashlight and the puck and the play, imagine it like a magnifying glass. You know what I mean? Like a magnifying glass? And, in Australia, even in Canada sometimes, maybe not in some of the colder places, but if you hold that magnifying glass still and sunshine goes through it and it hits some brush,
it's going to burn.
Yeah, it's going to burn. But if you move it a little bit, if you just move it a little bit, there's no fire. So you got to keep it still. Your mind is a magnifying glass. The puck is the brush, and keep it on it, like the puck and the play. If you keep it still, people will watch you and go, that goalie is on fire.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? You want to be on fire when you play. And so that's a little bit of framework for you on the mental side.
Absolutely. I wanted to touch back a little bit more on the confidence side of things. So I know a lot of coaches, a lot of player coaches and whatnot, they might say, hey, you just need to be more confident. But it's not like I can put confidence on a play and go, here you go, here's your confidence. How do you actually go and develop your own confidence? What does it come from?
Two key things, and this is important. Same with you when I played. Oh, well, you got to be more confident. Well, what
Give
is
it to me.
Can I have it? Can I order on Amazon? I don't know. Exactly. And you hear that all the time from coaches. So if coaches can understand that confidence comes from two things, and a lot of people will say different things, but really it all boils down to two things. Number one, how are you moving? Number two, what are you focusing on? And someone will say, no, Pete, confidence comes from success. If you have success, you're going to be confident. That's just because you just stopped a bunch of pucks, so you're focused on it.
Well,
right?
it's more experience, right? It's not so much success. It's like, what have you been through and what are you capable of, in a sense, right?
Yeah, but you don't even need that to be confident, really.
Right,
in
okay.
the sense of, because you think about what really is confidence. It's that certainty that you're going to have success.
Right.
It's that feeling of success, right? And you can create that feeling by, like right now, if I say, okay, Sera, shoulders back, chin up.
The body posture, right?
Yeah, body. Oh, like the Australian runner. I'm pretty sure it's an Australian runner. She has this, she does this anchor. I take goalies through self-confidence anchor. She does it on her run. I can't think of her name.
Are we talking recent or past?
In the past few years, Jennifer Heineke or something, or
Michelle Jenneke. She went to the school I went to.
When she has her little, she does her.
Yeah, Michelle Jenneke.
Yeah, that is so powerful. She's like, and then what her anchor is, this is her anchor. She goes like, now goalies can't do this, right?
Yeah.
But she gets confident, she does this. So you'll notice when she wins a race, what does she do? She fires off, because she's got that feeling of confidence. She fires off her anchor. And then before the race, what does she do to get that confidence feeling? She fires off her anchor, right? So I took Robbie Tallis through this back in the day. Joel like all these guys through these anchors. It's so powerful to be able to utilize that. That is in the Goalie Mindset Power Program. In that program,
Absolutely.
I take you through an anchoring session, by the way.
I think, I think that the body position and body posture, it's almost the fake it till you make it, in a way.
Yeah, and I would say more, and I know John and I had long talks about this, but more of create your confidence.
Right.
Like, it's up to you. It's up to it. When I played, my confidence was external. If I made a bunch of saves, I was the best goalie in the world. If I didn't stop a couple pucks in a row, I was doubting myself. Right. Whereas you can create it through how you move and what you focus on. So you gotta practice that highlight reel. See yourself making a glove save, a breakaway save. And pregame visualization is very, very, I take goalies through it all the time, every day. There's different goalies call me for pregame visualizations, and it just gets you feeling that 10 out of 10 in confidence there.
And I love now that we've gone into the visualization side of things. So for me, whenever I'm trying to, and I've put some players and goalies through this as well, that through visualization, you can absolutely hit all 5 senses. It's not just making a save and just watching it. It's not just seeing it. everything. You can feel it, you can smell it. Everyone knows what their gear smells like, what the rink smells like. You know your own equipment, the sound it makes, everything like the taste. Well, maybe if you've got your water bottle behind you, or just the taste of the air when you walk into the rink. So
Yes.
talk us a little bit through the visualization, what you do.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Do you have any games coming up at all that you're playing?
This yeah, weekend. It's just recreationally, but
That's
yeah.
all right, but you're playing on the weekend. Okay, so like 4 days from now.
Something like that.
Okay,
I
so
don't know
you
what
can
day of the week it is. Yeah,
you can play this again before your game. I'm going to walk you through a quick one right now, but you can play
sure.
it again right before your game. What better way to explain it is to do it.
Absolutely.
Now let me ask you this. Um, I do a merge at the end of the visualization. Is there a goaltender that who's a goalie that you really look up to, that if you could have the skills, the traits, the mentality, everything from that goalie, who would it be?
Like anyone from all time.
Yeah, anyone from old time. Like it could be Carey Price, could be anyone.
So I grew up and I still do admire Patrick Roy.
Patrick, why? I love
He is the
it.
reason I wear 33. But I think
Okay.
uh, these days, there's a bunch of goalies that I really admire, international and local as well. So I love how Fleury is always having fun, right?
Oh,
And then locally, I love how we've got Anthony Kimlin, who is our Australian national goaltender. He is a true master of the sport, of the position in our country.
okay,
So
yeah.
so these sorts of things. And then there's some younger ones that are coming through that I admire, just their work ethic that they've done. And I've had them on this interview before. So Olivia Lass, who is a young 15-year-old playing in Finland.
Nice.
Yeah. So she's going to be amazing. So there's a few, and for different reasons.
Perfect. Okay. Okay. So when I pick, I'll pick Patrick Waugh for the sake of this one.
Okay.
Patrick Waugh for the sake of this one. But before this, before I forget it, do you have Halloween in Australia, right?
We do.
So
It's not massive, but yes, it is there.
okay, if you were to go trick or treat on Halloween and you're to dress up as a goalie, what goalie would you dress up as? There's only one right answer to this one.
I mean, I didn't really do Halloween, but I would probably dress up as myself. We would have a whole hockey family going along.
You know what the answer is?
What should it be?
Scary Price.
Nice.
Okay, that came from Jeff Compton, by the way. That's not my joke. It came from Jeff. He told it today when we were doing our mindset sessions. Anyways, okay. So
Oh, well, I might have to steal that one.
there you go. There you go. Okay, here we go. Visualization time. So
Right.
okay, look, kind of I do a cross visualization, a little bit of hypnotism, kind of a little bit of both here.
Sure.
Okay, here we go. Sera, in a moment, I'm going to begin relaxing you step by step. Get settled in. In a moment, I'm going to tell you to close your eyes. Close your eyes down tightly now. See yourself on the 10th floor of a tall building, standing outside of an elevator, pressing the down button. The doors open, you walk on, doors close behind you, press button called visualization room, which is right below floor number 1. When you do that, you can then start to feel the elevator go down from 10 to 9. And with each floor the elevator goes down, with every easy breath you take, you feel more relaxed. 8 drifting, 7 relaxing, 6 letting go, 5 calmly, 4 easily, 3 readily, 2 breathe in a deep relaxation. Breathe out any and all anxieties. 1, breathe in calmness, confidence, connecting with your higher self, connecting with the universe. Breathe out any and all negativities whatsoever. That's fine, Sera. You are doing perfectly. Visualization room floor, the elevator doors open. You walk off the elevator, have a seat in your big easy chair in your visualization room, where in front of you is the biggest movie screen in the world. And on that movie screen, you recognize that you're the director, the producer of your future, and your future is created through your imagination, which is a powerful one. You think big. Sera, see yourself now in your upcoming game. You're out on the ice. You can feel your feet in your skates, You can feel the ice below you. You can feel your hand in your glove, your hand in your blocker. You feel your equipment. You got the smell of your equipment. You can see the play in front of you crystal clear. And when the puck's about to drop a few seconds before, you check your levels, and your hype level is exactly where you want it to be, where you play your very best. Your confidence is a 10 out of 10. You feel like you can stop every puck, like you can make every save. Your compete level is a 10 out of 10. You know you'll do whatever it takes to stop the puck. And your flashlight, your focus is simply on the puck and the play. You're in the moment. As that puck is dropped, the play moves towards you. You are hungry to stop the puck, yet calm and confidence. The play moves in your zone, goes down to the left corner, up to the left point. From the left point, they feed it across to the right point. The D-man there steps in, fires a puck. As soon as that player fires a puck, someone steps in front of you to screen you. No big deal. You're able to look around, find the puck, make the save, get a whistle, power. When the whistle goes, you go into mental zone 1. You rest, you revitalize, and you check your levels again. That puck's now about to be dropped to the right of you. You're set in your perfect stance. You're aware of the players on the ice. You can see them crystal clear. That puck is dropped. The other team wins a drop back to the right point. Down low to the right corner. Behind the net, you notice someone is open, a left-hander in front of the net. That puck is fed from behind the net to the front. For a one-timer, you read it perfectly, making that save, getting a whistle, power. And as the game continues, you continue to make save after save, again and again. Glove save. See that black puck? Go into your glove. Breakaway save. Save on a shot from the point through traffic. Stick save, sending the puck up and over into the stands. Save after save, again and again, over and over, just like breathing. Sera, you now see yourself make any and every other save that I have not yet mentioned in any and every other situation, which will lead you toward total success in the game. See yourself making those saves now. Now, see yourself getting up from your easy chair. Walk to the elevator. Press the up button. The doors open. You walk on. Doors close behind you. Press buttons 1 and 10. Elevator goes, visualization room, the floor number 1 where the doors open and Patrick Waugh is standing there. You can see him crystal clear, his jersey, glove blocker, his pad. You see the colors, very bright. You see the confidence in his eyes. And he asks you what skills, whether it be physical or mental or any skills whatsoever, would you like from me? That's what he asks you. And then he moves to stand beside you, facing the same way, right beside you. And as the elevator now continues up, Patrick Waugh and you, side by side, merge together. And you can see the merge crystal clear in your mind. And as the merge happens, you're starting to feel like you can stop every puck, no matter what. You're feeling like you can make every save. Floor 2, you feel like you can stop any puck from anyone, no matter what. Floor 3, you are a great goalie, power. Floor 4, you are a wall, power. Floor 5, you can see as the merge continues, you can see it crystal clear in your mind. Floor 6, you can feel the merge throughout every single cell in your body. Floor 7, you're gaining the skills of Patrick Waugh, the competitiveness of Patrick Waugh, the inner fire power of Patrick Waugh, the mental skills of Patrick Waugh. Floor 7, floor 8, floor 9. On the next floor, floor number 10, the merge with Patrick Waugh and you will be completed. You'll bring the powers of Patrick Waugh into this weekend's game, into the rest of the hockey season, into your goalie career. Floor number 10. Sera, you have greatness. You have power within you. The elevator doors open. You open your eyes.
Nice.
How you feeling?
Yeah, you know what was awesome about that? That I know what rink we're playing at this weekend. I know the team we're playing against. So I could see the rink and the netting because we don't have glass at this rink, the netting around it, the players that I know are the ones that tend to be the goal scorers on the other team and how they
Yep.
play and how they shoot. So it was, yeah, really took me there. It was great. Thank you.
Awesome. You're very welcome. Very welcome. Fantastic. You got to send me a message after your game. Give me some
Absolutely.
feedback.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Could
Awesome.
you feel yourself gaining like the skills or the mental characteristics of Patrick Waugh during the merge?
Yeah, and I don't know because I didn't have my eyes open if you could see it, but I felt like I was smiling throughout because hockey is fun for me. So every time you're
Yes.
mentioning those little things, I just felt like I just kept smiling and smiling because yeah, when I smile, when I have fun, I tend to play better.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Great job.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So now that people have had a little taste of some of the things that you deliver these days, given the pandemic, are you doing lots of things virtually and online?
Yes, yes. In fact, one of the other things that I'm doing is concentration games with
Ah,
goaltenders.
yes.
And yes, and that's a heck of a lot of fun. And if any of your goalies want to reach out for a free trial of that as well too, we'd be happy to give it to them as well. And yeah, it's great. We got goalies on from all over the world that are coming on that, like goalies that are in the like the DEL in Germany and top league in Austria, and Dylan Ferguson has been on a whole bunch. Vegas, one of the biggest Golden Knights goalies, and it's and lots of great minor hockey goalies as well too. And sometimes the 9 or 10-year-olds, their mental focus is as good as some of the adults. Sometimes it's crazy.
Nice. Well, yeah, and you see that with different just personalities and the way people learn as well. You see that just across everything. That's awesome. Okay, thank you so much for this today. This was really awesome. I got so much out of it, and sports psychology in itself is something that I studied in my undergrad that I worked in for a little bit. So I'm fascinated about all this and really love the mental side of goaltending. And yeah, and if anyone does want to join on, feel free to connect with Pete. Share the website before. Is
Yeah.
there any other way they can connect with you?
Well, you know what? Here, let me share the screen again. This will
Sure.
probably be help. I just put in Google like goalie mindset,
Yeah,
right? So if
right.
you
Okay.
goalie mindset, you can see my book. You can order my book on Amazon if you want.
Nice.
It's a good one. It's an easy read. I did, so it's a simple read for goalies.
Uh-huh.
So you can read it in a weekend probably. The Goalie Mindset Power Program. If you go to the link that I sent you, I think you get a little better deal with that. But you can check it out this way. You can do like the first day complimentary as well too if you want. And you can send me a message. Send me a message, I guess, at maybe Pete Fry at goaliemindsettraining.com if you want.
Right.
And I'll set you up on a free trial for the concentration games as well too. And
Awesome.
Sarah, we
Awesome.
want to get you on more of those concentration games.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember back in the day, doing concentration grids, working with sports psychologists, and the 10 by 10
Yeah.
grid and the distractions that they would deliberately throw my way. I actually did it the other night, 3 minutes 18 for the 10 by 10. It's been a while, but
Awesome. That's all right. That's still pretty good.
yeah.
That's pretty
So
good.
I just yeah it's something that I need to practice a little bit more. I mean, the mental skills do need practicing just as much as the online skills and the off
Oh,
ice
yeah.
skills as well.
Yeah.
So absolutely, it is something that you won't get straight away. It's one of those skills that does need training in itself.
Yeah. Well, and can I leave the goalies with this thought is
Yes,
that
please.
I usually bring it up at the start, but I didn't, and it's better that I'm talking about it at the end. I always ask goalies, what percentage of your success is mental? And you'll get all types of answers,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Up to 100%, maybe as low
Right.
as 50%. But I say, even if it was only 25%, that's still a big part of I think it's more like 80 or 90%. But
Yeah.
even if it was only 25%, that's a big enough portion of your success that you have to devote the time to it.
Mm,
You got to devote
absolutely.
time to it, right? And for me, I swear, not having those mental skills, that cost me millions of dollars, right? Of
Mm,
playing in the National Hockey League by not having those mental skills, and
Absolutely.
they're so key for the goal. Whether it's a scholarship, whether it's just having more fun when you're out there, whatever it is, but you got to devote some time to it, and be happy to work with the goalies in Australia, right? I'm working with goalies in Britain, in Austria, and Germany, and of course Canada, the US, and all these countries. But let's get some Australian goalies
Absolutely.
playing pro.
Oh, that is the dream, and I hope we make that dream a reality someday. Pete, thank you so much for your time today. This has been truly wonderful. Thank you for just all the knowledge that you've shared, and even just going through visualization with me. I will absolutely have to let you know how I go on the weekend.
That's great. That's great. My voice, I would have a hard time with my voice on the visualization. It was a little froggy or something like that, right? But normally it's even more powerful. But so I kind of, just so you know.
Heard you fine. It's all good.
And you got a new joke too. Okay.
Yeah, well, yes, and you have a new word of goalieing.
Goalie. Yep, there we go. The goalie mindset guy. Goalie
mindset guy. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Thanks so much,
Thanks,
Pete.
Sera. Great job.